That same year, he became the subject of an internal investigation.
I'm staying low down, keeping it a bill, that ain't no doubt. Much love to the homie, every city know now. More crowd, pressing issues in the positive. Locked out TV is way better than they thought it is. The interviews is solid facts, talking about your troubled past. What you did to change that shit, doing better is the plan. Homie keeps a solid point, combo lit just like a joint. Better yet just like a brew, locked out TV.
What's good, fam bam? Welcome back to another episode of Loked Out TV. You already know how we do it. We're going to keep it loked out, no doubt, for real. Coming at you with another loked out banger. But check it out. Before we jump all the way up into the topic of the video, it'd be highly appreciated if you hit that like, that subscribe, and that notification bell so you could be notified of all the latest loked out content as it drops. And if you really want to keep it all the way loked out, hit that comment section and talk your shh, because that's exactly what the comment section is there for. Also, if you don't feel like hearing me talk about the topic of the video, feel free to skip to 3 minutes, because that's where the clips are, and that's where the clips will always be. Now that we got that out the way, let's talk about the topic. So in this video right here, we got the story of a young college student that was recently wrongfully arrested, illegally pulled over and illegally arrested. Now, she was arrested for driving without a license. That's right. In the state of Georgia, you can get arrested if you are pulled over. No, you will get arrested if you're pulled over and you are not driving with a license. So she was arrested. But once the city learned that this was illegal, what happened? Because it was an illegal traffic stop, an illegal arrest. After that, they decided to drop the charges. They said, hey man, she could sue the hell out of us. Let's try to make it right. I think she should still sue them, and I hope they do. But anyways, so the charges did get dropped, but then it turns out that she does not have papers, even though that she lived in this country since she was 4 years old. So immigration, that's right, ICE, picked up the case and put an immigration hold on her. Not only did they put an immigration hold on her, but they also went and picked up her father and put him in a detention center. So this kicked up a lot of dust in the community, and they started protesting and doing what they needed to do to get her free, donating money and everything. Well, once they did get their bond for ICE, so they are both free and back at home, she went on social media and wished Donald Trump a happy birthday on King's Day. Yes, the same man trying to deport her and her father. She went and wished him a very happy birthday. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this, because the RAZA is pissed. They trying to boycott her, and they trying to cancel her, and they saying they want a refund. So y'all drop a comment. Let me know what's up. Here's that clip.
Look at the arrest of 19-year-old Jimena Arias Cristobal. It's something that the city of Dalton is now saying should not have happened. That's after a review of the dash cam footage showed Dalton police stopping the wrong truck. The city of Dalton is dismissing Jimena Arias Cristobal's charges because this black truck in the beginning of the video is the one police should have stopped. According to the city, once out of the dash cam's view, the officers saw that truck make an illegal right-hand turn onto Thornton Avenue. That officer tries to pursue it, but must stop at the red light. After the officer is able to make that turn, Arias Cristobal is pulled over in this dark gray Dodge truck. But he passes the truck police say made that illegal right turn just moments before. You can hear Arias Cristobal say the truck belongs to a close family friend and attempt to call that friend as well as her mother. You can also hear discussion about the Georgia state law we told you about last week that led to Arias Cristobal being taken into custody.
So in the state of Georgia, when you drive without a license, you know what happens? You ever been to jail? Oh, you're going. All right, go ahead and turn around for me. You have to go to jail by the state of Georgia. Hands on your back.
Can I call my mom?
Yeah, we'll call your mom.
Meanwhile, Arias Cristobal will have a bond hearing on May 20th. We asked attorney Dustin Baxter about what would happen if that bond was granted. And he tells us if she is released on bond, her case will be transferred to a non-detained immigration court and set for a new hearing, likely a year or two from now. Dalton police have dropped all charges against 19-year-old Jimena Arias Cristobal. The police department acknowledged that an officer pulled over the wrong vehicle after witnessing an improper right turn at this intersection. But questions still remain on if this new development could affect her future immigration hearings.
You ever been to jail? Oh, you're going.
After this traffic stop,
My family really depends on this.
You shouldn't be driving.
Dalton police say there's nothing they can do.
We made an arrest based on state law, and the procedure from there is not within our purview.
Come over here.
A statement immigration attorney Terry Olson agrees with.
Really, ICE has her now, has her detained, and per the immigration orders that they issued, it doesn't really matter if there's a conviction.
We reached out to Arias Cristobal's attorneys about if those dismissed charges could impact her immigration hold with ICE at the Stewart Detention Center, and if the dismissal could affect her chances of immigration bond for her upcoming hearing. Attorney Dustin Baxter told us in part, having the criminal charges dropped will not sway ICE to release her from custody without a fight. And we hope that having the charges dropped increases Jimena's chance at immigration bond. 19-year-old Jimena Arias Cristobal has now been in ICE custody at the Stewart Detention Center for a week now. Around 140 people have gathered here in support of the college student, and we're learning more about her father's case and where that stands.
You have to go to jail by the state of Georgia. Hands behind your back.
After charges against 19-year-old Jimena Arias Cristobal were dropped Monday, she still remains in ICE custody in the Stewart Detention Center. But we're told by family friend Hannah Jones that her father, Jose Francisco Arias Tovar, met his $7,000 immigration bond Wednesday, meaning he will be back in Dalton with Arias Cristobal's mother and younger sisters.
My dad was going to work and he was going to get materials because he's building a house for some clients, and they stopped him.
U.S. Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene released a statement to us about the officer error that led to Arias Cristobal's arrest and immigration hold, saying in part, quote, while local Dalton officials dropped her charges, the facts remain. She was driving illegally without a license and has no legal basis to remain in the United States. We asked her about the demonstration planned for the college student outside of her Dalton office. She tells us in part, while Democrat activists spend their day demonstrating, I'll stay focused on doing my job, fighting for every hardworking family in Northwest Georgia. We had an opportunity to speak with the Arias Cristobal family here at the protest tonight. They tell us that Arias Tovar is expected home sometime tomorrow evening. We're learning more about the Dalton officer who pulled over 19-year-old college student Jimena Arias Cristobal, leading to her being sent to an ICE facility. But as we told you after that arrest, this dashcam video shows Officer Leslie O'Neill stopping the wrong vehicle for an illegal right turn on red. Officer O'Neill's internal affairs file tells us that 2 years before he wrongfully pulled over Arias Cristobal, he was at fault for 2 crashes. That same year, he became the subject of an internal investigation. That background from Dalton police says Officer O'Neill was investigated after sharing body camera footage without the appropriate approval in July of 2023. He received some disciplinary action, including a written reprimand and remedial training on evidence handling procedures. 19-year-old Jimena Arias Cristobal, whose charges from this traffic stop were dropped by Dalton PD, remains in ICE custody.
We can't ever guarantee anything when it comes to bonds and immigration court. We have a positive outlook. It's our job to try and convince the judge that not only is Jimena not a danger to society, but she's also not a flight risk.
Does this situation make you worry about your family's future?
It does, only because I know that even having the right paperwork, it doesn't mean anything anymore. With the presidency we have now, even having the right paperwork could mean deportation.
And you touched on it a little bit earlier in Spanish, talking about how it doesn't even matter if you have papers. If you're Spanish, you're getting pulled over. Can you just talk about a little bit about it?
Yes, I think I heard stories in Stewart where there had cops went into their house. ICE went into their house and took them. And it's just very unfair. And just being Hispanic, you're a target. And I think right now people should fear being deported or being pulled over by a cop just because you're Hispanic.
And how does life in Dalton compare to life in Stewart?
Completely life-changing. It's a whole lot. It switches your world. It's unexplainable.
And can you even imagine a life in Mexico?
I can, but it'd be very different. Like y'all know, I got here whenever I was 4. I love Mexico because I'm from there, but it's a country I'm not familiar with.
Now, I'm sure there was a great amount of public and national pressure both ways on this story.
After the Dalton Police Department dropped all charges from 19-year-old Jimena Arias Cristobal's traffic stop,
I'm 10-4, 1 female 95.
we obtained Officer Leslie Allen O'Neill's resignation letter. Addressed to the Chief of Police, this letter states the department had a, quote, inadequate response to and defense against public accusations of false arrest, which arose after a charge from a valid arrest was publicly dropped without explanation.
Step away.
We saw some backlash against Officer O'Neill at a protest before Jimena was released on bond. And online, commenters called the arrest embarrassing and shameful, calling for Officer O'Neill's resignation. A spokesperson for the city of Dalton tells us the department doesn't comment on personnel matters. Although driving without a valid license is an arrestable offense due to Georgia state law.
If the original stop was invalid, then the government can't benefit from things they found out after an illegal stop. Now, the officer may argue that that was an honest mistake, pulling over the wrong vehicle, and then he discovered there's an unlicensed driver. Still, I think the city of Dalton probably did the right thing in this situation.
There was nothing that they could do to come out of the shadows and become official members of this country that they love. It just wasn't a possibility.
That's 19-year-old Jimena Arias Cristobal's attorney, who claimed both the teenager and her father tried to become legal citizens.
Intenté varios años. Tuve citas, pagué dinero con abogados para preguntar si podía arreglar mi situación y todos me decían que no, que tenía que esperar a que cambiaran las leyes de inmigración.
But without that, what would their life in Dalton look like? During a Tuesday press conference, Arias Cristobal spoke about her plans to go back to Dalton State.
I have to speak to the president of Dalton State, and they will allow me to take my finals that I wasn't able to take because I got arrested.
Dalton State tells us their students do not have to provide a social security number and lists one of their enrollment requirements as verification of lawful presence only if paying in-state tuition. Arias Cristobal's attorney confirmed to us her family paid out-of-state tuition. We also know Arias Cristobal graduated from Dalton High School. Dalton Public Schools and Whitfield County Schools both permit guardians to sign a waiver if they cannot provide a social security number for their student.